Alright, so let's talk about Peppa Pig, because this show looks extremely simple on the surface. But there are so many tiny details hidden inside it that most people completely miss. And once you start noticing them, watching Peppa Pig becomes way more fun. Let's start small. 1. The muddy puddle animation. Mistake nobody notices. In many episodes where Peppa and her friends jump in muddy puddles, there's a blink and you miss it animation detail. When the characters jump, the splash sometimes appears before their feet touch the ground. In other scenes, the splash lands slightly away from where their feet land. It only lasts a single frame or two, which is why most viewers never notice it. But once you pause or slow it down,
Here I come.
You'll start catching it everywhere. This happens because muddy puddle scenes were animated quickly and reused across episodes. But once you see it, you'll always look for it. 2. The characters float more than you think. Now pay attention to something most people never notice. When characters walk or run in Peppa Pig, their feet don't always stay perfectly attached to the ground. In several scenes, especially when characters move sideways or stop suddenly, their bodies slightly float for a frame before settling back down. It's extremely subtle. You won't notice it at normal speed. But if you pause or scrub frame by frame, you'll catch moments where the feet don't fully line up with the ground. This happens because Peppa Pig uses very simple animation layers. Characters slide across the screen instead of being fully reanimated for every step. It's not a mistake. It's a shortcut to keep the animation clean and consistent. Once you notice it, you'll start spotting it everywhere, especially during group scenes and outdoor walks. 3. The inside of the house makes even less sense. Now let's go inside the house. Peppa's bedroom layout changes constantly. Her bed moves. The toy basket changes position. Sometimes the window is closer, sometimes farther away. Even the staircase placement doesn't line up with the outside of the house. This happens because each episode is designed independently, but visually, it makes the house feel like it resets itself every time. 4. Daddy Pig is smarter than the show pretends. Most people think Daddy Pig is just the silly, clumsy dad. But watch closely. In episodes involving maps, directions, or plans, Daddy Pig is usually the only one who actually understands what's happening.
Of course, Peppa. I'm very good with maps.
However, there's a visual joke that hides this. The map behind him is often upside down or sideways, yet he explains it confidently.
It is a bit difficult.
Daddy Pig, you're holding the map upside down.
Yes, I thought as much.
Everyone listens anyway. The joke isn't that Daddy Pig is stupid, it's that he explains things badly, while still trying his best. 5. Daddy Pig's plans rarely go right. Here's a detail most people don't consciously notice. Whenever Daddy Pig comes up with a plan, he explains it confidently. Everyone listens. But soon after, something small goes wrong. Not because the plan is terrible, but because Daddy Pig overcomplicates things. This pattern shows up across many episodes and is used to create gentle comedy without real consequences. Once you notice it, you'll start spotting how often Daddy Pig's confidence is followed by a harmless failure, usually ending in laughter. 6. Peppa rarely blinks, and it's on purpose. Now let's talk about Peppa herself. Peppa almost never blinks while she's talking. George blinks more. Mummy Pig blinks more. Even background characters blink more. Peppa doesn't. This is done deliberately to keep her expressions clear and readable for kids, but it also makes her appear more confident and dominant on screen. Once you notice it, you'll see how often Peppa controls conversations. 7. Peppa almost always gets the last word. Here's another subtle detail that most people don't consciously notice. Even when Peppa is wrong, even when she's corrected by Mummy Pig, Daddy Pig, or Madame Gazelle, she almost always gets the final line in the scene. Sometimes it's a laugh, sometimes it's a confident comment, sometimes it's just her saying her name again. But that last line matters more than it seems. In storytelling, the character who speaks last is the one the audience remembers most clearly. That final voice acts like a mental bookmark, especially for younger viewers. So even when Peppa makes a mistake, the scene doesn't end with her being wrong. It ends with her being present, confident, and central.
Silly little Daddy Pig.
What's interesting is that this happens across many episodes, not just once or twice. Once you start paying attention to who gets the final word in conversations, you'll notice it's Peppa far more often than any other character. It's a small design choice, but it quietly reinforces that this world always revolves around her, without kids ever realizing it. 8. Miss Rabbit is literally everywhere. Now let's talk about Miss Rabbit, because this is one of the funniest running details in the entire show.
Miss Rabbit?
Sure.
But this is Miss Rabbit.
Every town needs a Miss Rabbit.
Miss Rabbit works almost every job in the Peppa Pig world. Bus driver, shopkeeper, train conductor, librarian, doctor's assistant, pilot, ice cream seller. This was originally done so kids could quickly recognize characters. But once you notice it, Miss Rabbit feels like she's everywhere at once. Sometimes she even appears silently in the background. 9. Background characters. Duplicate themselves. In crowd scenes, something strange happens. You'll often see the same character duplicated in different places at the same time. Same outfit, same face, same colors. It happens fast, but once you notice it, it's impossible to unsee. 10. Madame Gazelle's classroom control. In school scenes, notice the desks. The kids' desks are uneven. Some are closer, some are farther apart. But Madame Gazelle's desk? Always perfectly centered. Even her posture barely changes. Her calm personality is reinforced visually, not just through dialogue. 11. Madame Gazelle never loses control. No matter how loud or chaotic the kids get, Madame Gazelle almost never raises her voice. She doesn't need to. Her calm design, still movements, and centered framing do the work for her. 12. The sun never moves. Now here's one of the coolest details. In every episode, the sun is always drawn in the same position in the sky, same angle, same height, same smile. Which means time in Peppa Pig never truly moves forward. That's why nobody ages. That's why nothing permanently changes. 13. No consequences ever carry over. No matter what happens, getting lost, breaking something, making huge mistakes, everything is completely fine by the next episode, no memory, no consequences. This is intentional. The Peppa Pig world is designed to feel safe, predictable, and repeatable. 14. Why this actually makes the show better. All of these details aren't mistakes. They're design choices made to help kids feel comfortable. But for adults, they add an unexpected layer of fun. Once you start noticing these things, Peppa Pig becomes a completely different viewing experience. So yeah, Peppa Pig looks simple, but once you start catching these tiny details, you'll never watch it the same way again. If you enjoyed this, comment which detail surprised you the most. And if you want a part 2, you know what to do.